everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. I'm Jo Michaels, the baking author, and today I'm going to make flatbreads to go with a Swiss potato soup that my friend Kelly Risser sent me the recipe for. So these flatbreads, it makes about 6, and they're yay-ish, and they're really soft and really fluffy. We use baking powder instead of yeast. Fun, always fun, because they're a little flatter than your traditional bread. So let's just get going, and we'll kind of walk through, like I have my recipe printed, but you never know. So let's get going. First thing you're going to need is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. As always, spooned and leveled into a dry measuring cup. That means a measuring cup without a spout on the side. But if you've been with me for a while, you know this. If you haven't been with me for a while, welcome new viewers. I like new people. New people keep things interesting. I just did my, if you notice I'm wearing a glove today, I just did my shrimp and grits recipe last night, but I didn't find any shrimp, so it was sausage and grits. And my best friend actually requested it. And funny thing, my pan sliced my finger open. I was using my whisk and I just happened to go right around the edge of the pan, and it cut me pretty good. But my husband was such a rock star. He came in and brought me some Band-Aids and we got through it. So glove. I don't want to get my Band-Aid wet. That would be bad. All right, now I'm going to add to this a teaspoon of salt. And this is just regular salt. Regular iodized. The fact that I can't dip quite a teaspoon out of here, it has me all bajiggity. 1 teaspoon of regular salt. And we're going to mix these dry ingredients together before we get to mixing the wet stuff with it. You don't want to overwork that gluten. So what did I do with my teaspoon? There it is. So 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Get out. Try not to bang around too much. You're also going to need a pan of some kind and some vegetable oil, which I have over there for cooking. I'm going to need over there on that part of the counter today. I know y'all can maybe see it. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep you in the loop because I didn't want to be changing back and forth between sides of the kitchen. So also to this, we're going to add some rosemary, about a teaspoon, and just like take it in your hand and just crush it up before you add it. That kind of hurts my finger. Because you don't want like a big stick of rosemary in your mouth. Ew. Rosemary. All right, now I'm going to take my paddle and I'm just going to mix those dry ingredients together. I can smell that rosemary. It sure is fragrant. Okay, now for our wet ingredients, we want some maple syrup, some olive oil, and some water. Ow, that really hurt. All right, maple syrup, a teaspoon. I'm going to measure over here because we all know that I spill things. Ha! Look at me go. Now I'm going to add my olive oil. It's 2 tablespoons. Olive oil makes bread soft. I love it in the focaccia that we make. I did just dribble it on my stovetop. Not using my infused olive oil today because I don't want this to be spicy at all. And now I have 3/4 cup of cold water. I'm just going to add about half of it. Well, about 2/3 of it. I'm just going to mix it around. And if it still seems a bit dry, we'll just throw the rest of that water in here. Of course, it's the winter, so everything is a little bit drier right now. And yeah, I think it's going to take the whole 3/4 cup. Because what we don't want is like dough chunks. And this is just the mixing bowl from my mixer. I don't have any special bowls or anything. I think I have like 3 or 4 large bowls. And I am going to say that is not quite enough water because the stuff is not sticking together. So let's get just a little more. Cold water, you don't want to activate the gluten in the dough. Just a drizzle. That was maybe half a teaspoon. But it's not quite coming together. Now when we take this out of here, we're just going to knead it like 5 or 6 times. Just to kind of make sure the ingredients are all distributed. That's perfect. It's like damp, but it's not super wet. And it's not super dry. So I'm going to just turn it out on my counter. It's not sticky at all. Going to give it some kneads. Again, this side of the counter is really clean right now because I knew I was doing this, so make sure your counter is hyper clean. Let me grab a knife. We're going to cut this into 6 pieces, then we're going to cover it with our dishcloth, and we're going to leave it sit here for 10 minutes, okay? So this should take about half an hour from start to finish. It won't be as long for you because you're going to like bye-bye for a few minutes while I let this rest. So I will be back with you. I'm going to cut this into 6 pieces, and then we'll get going on the cooking. See y'all then. Okay guys, I'm about a minute out from these being ready to cook. I did clean up a little bit. Don't put your flour away because you're going to need it. I have my oil, and I'm just going to use my fingers on this hand because they're covered in a glove to kind of spread it around on my sheet here. And it says to warm it until it's shimmery. As you can tell, this is my pancake pan. I love it. It's the best thing ever. Okay, so we're just coating the bottom. And then I'm actually going to use something I hardly ever use, and that's the in-between. So if you have a cooktop with the little bridge part, this is perfect for that. Alright, we're just going to heat that oil until it's shimmery. Then my timer should go off and we'll get to rolling out our flatbreads. I'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, welcome back. You can use a pastry brush or whatever to do that, but my timer's going off, so it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to uncover my happy little balls of dough. Then I'm going to dust them in flour and kind of smash them out to an oblong shape. I know you've seen flatbreads. They're like this. So each dough ball, are they even? Probably not. I am not a perfect person. If you're looking for perfect, you've come to the wrong place. Yeah, we are not perfect around here. We are home cooks, and we don't care what it looks like as long as it tastes really good, right? Right. So I'm just going to kind of flour this, lay it on my counter, and just give it a little press out. And the flour is just so it doesn't stick to my counter or my hands, and you can use a rolling pin. The thinner you make these, the chewier your flatbread is going to be. Okay, so if you want a fluffier flatbread, leave them a little thicker. And our pan is big enough so we can put on more than one at a time. They don't have to be perfect, just smash them out. So mine are about like that big. Okay, you can see they're pretty. They're not too small, they're not too huge. And that's not quite ready. So I'm going to place that one over there. And I'm just going to use the flour left on my counter for the next one. It's a little bit bigger. So it's going to get a little bit bigger as I smash it out. Remember, if you work your dough too much, you'll activate the gluten and it won't spread like this the way that it should. I'm just turning it in my fingers and smashing it like I'm doing it like I would have a ship's wheel, kind of like that. And then just kind of smashing it out from there. In hindsight, that towel probably should have been a little damp because these did dry out a little bit while they were sitting there. But hindsight is 20/20. I'm actually starting to hate that saying because it reminds me of this year. Our daughter got us a Christmas tree ornament this year, and on it is they're the numbers 2020. And for the zeros, one is a mask, one of the round ones, and the other one is a roll of toilet paper. And I said, wow, that pretty much sums up this year in 2 icons. Because it was a health hazard shit of a year, right? I cannot believe people had to run on toilet paper. That still blows my mind. All right, I think our oil is ready because that pan feels like it's pretty hot. We're going to do about 2 minutes on each side. And they should puff up, but not like a lot. And I'm just going to keep this handy to like put them in after they come off the heat. Get those last 2 smashed out pretty quickly here. Run out of time, run out of time. And again, you can make these whatever shape you want. You can make them round, you can make them oblong, you can make them squares if you feel so inclined. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to cook the same way anyway. Again, the thicker that you leave them, you can also do this with a rolling pin. But what kind of fun is that? I like smashing things with my hands. But anyway, the thicker that you leave them, the fluffier your flatbread's going to be when it comes off the skillet. Oh my God. I think I have turned into a blonde during this pandemic. Not saying all blondes are dumb, but you know. My best friend growing up was blonde as blonde comes. She used to confuse words all the time. I used to laugh so hard at her. Now I'm doing it. Oh man. For example, for bubble gum, she would say gubble bum. She was like a very cute version of Designing Women, you know, the dumb sister. She was that sister. Not sure my pan was quite hot enough because I can smell them, but when I pick up the edge, they're just lightly toasty on the bottom. Let's hope they get a little more puffy whenever I flip them over, huh? That one's brown. That one's not quite as brown. That one's pretty darn super brown, and I just dropped that one, so I'm not going to touch it. This one back here was not brown at all. Okay, it's now a little bit brown. You can do this in a cast iron skillet. You could do it on a skillet like this. You could do it however you really want to do it. Makes no difference to moi. Now I'm sounding like Miss Piggy. Makes no difference to moi. Now they smell like they're getting a little too brown. Come on, man. Make up your mind. I'm guessing you can also bake these. I haven't tried. I just want the middles to be done. That's really all I care about. And that one is now brown too. Woohoo! So one coating of oil did it. They didn't rise a whole lot, but they did rise, which that's kind of the idea, right? Now if you want to keep these like amazingly soft, wrap them in a dish towel, like a kitchen towel, and just hold on to them until you eat dinner. Now if you have rolled them out with a rolling pin, all your little pieces of your flatbread are going to touch the top of the skillet. I said it again, the top of the skillet at the same time, and you're not going to have this very odd looking dark spots. We're going to cook with a skittle today. How would you even cook with a skittle? They're fruity and chewy. Do not understand. Anyway. And again, if you want like a flatbread for a pizza, by all means, roll it out with a rolling pin. I'm sure it would work just fine. Flour it, roll it out. Whoop, whoop. Be all kinds of amazing. These are going to be perfect for soup. That was my goal. Soup flatbread. And they are hollow sounding. So hopefully that means they are done. Oh, in the middle. I'm cutting a finger, I'm burning a finger. It's just bad fingers all around today. And I'm done. How long did that take? Woo! Alright guys, I will link the Swiss potato soup in the recipe, like in the description of the video, in case you guys want to check that out. You can make some flatbreads to go with your Swiss potato soup. Those are super fluffy inside. Mmm. Super yummy. Rosemary for the win. Mm-hmm. Mmm. Mmm. Half of that piece is definitely going to be my lunch today. That is really hot. Okay, guys, there's your flatbreads. Woohoo! If you want to see them, they kind of look like this. Nice and toasty, but they're cooked all the way through. That's really all I care about. They don't have to be pretty, they have to be edible. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay. Come back next week. I got some more. Share on social media. Tag me. I'm at @JoeMichaels everywhere, and I do mean everywhere, even my website. So I will see you guys next week. Until then, be cool, be amazing, and cook your butts off. See you then.